as I was having that sandwich, I bit my tongue, and it never healed. My tongue never healed, and I just kept bleeding and bleeding.
Soon Victoria noticed other strange symptoms, swelling and painful blood clots. So she went to a doctor who ran several blood tests.
Dr. Robert Glasser came in. He had already told me that what I had was leukemia. And he told me that 90% of my cells were malignant, and I was just working on 10% of my cells.
Doctors immediately started her on aggressive chemotherapy, but she wasn't prepared for its effects.
And my body started feeling that shock. My hair started falling down. I started getting nauseous. I couldn't eat. And sometimes I used to cough, and I used to have like a very persistent cough, and I will spit up blood. And in my heart, I was still in God. I was waiting and I was hoping. I said, God, I'm in your hands. You are the best doctor. You think and you say, wow. I mean, I'm doing everything according to the scripture. I'm doing everything that I'm supposed to do. But then deep down I knew that this came from Satan, because he wanted me out of the way.
Victoria struggled with waiting and with questions.
As I was going through this trial and sickness, and I realized that I was so sick, and I saw my son, and I thought of him, and I said, and I prayed to God, and I said, God, this is what I want. This is the desire of my heart. I want to see my son grow up. He was 14 years at that point. And as I was praying, I knew that God was going to answer. And that's what motivated me also, to have that faith in God and to believe that God was going to come through for me.
Victoria went into remission, but relapsed 3 times, each leaving her weaker. Her doctor didn't hold out much hope.
She was not a candidate for a transplant because she didn't have a match. So we really felt very negative about her chances.
Victoria's pastor had a different outlook.
So I was in my office and I was getting ready to leave for the day, and when I went to turn off the light that was over my desk, I felt the Lord speak to me very strongly, and He said to me, when you pray for her, I'm going to heal her. Then when I arrived at the hospital, much of her family was in the waiting room, and I saw that people were embracing each other. They were crying and they were mourning, and they were saying it doesn't look good for Vicky. She was hemorrhaging. They were trying to give her blood, and she was just losing the blood, and they didn't think that she was going to survive the night. So I went into the room where she was in the hospital, and she was awake and she was aware, and I said to her, I said, Vicky, I said, God's going to heal you. He told me that when I pray for you, He's going to heal you. And she says, oh, I know it. She says, I've been waiting for it. I know it.
Pastor Reese prayed a simple prayer.
And the next day, my family, they were all there waiting. And they say that I opened my eyes and I got up, and the first thing I asked was for a very big breakfast, because I was very hungry.
To be honest with you, I'm very shocked, because after 3 relapses, we don't really have a whole lot of hope.
So when I went to see my doctor for the last time that I went to the office, I said to him, you know, I love you so much, but I don't want to see you again. Even now, he still doesn't even know or realize or wonder or even figure out why I'm alive. He tells me, he says, I don't even know why you're doing here.
Victoria has been cancer-free for over 16 years with no sign of relapse. She's grateful for the chance to tell others about her healing, and she can't stop talking about what God has done in her life.
And it was such a blessing for me just to know that God had healed me for that reason, so that I'll be able to testify His wonders and His mercy unto others when they hear somebody else telling them, hey, trust the Lord, because I did it, and God did it for me.